I want to quickly summarize my points before I begin. They may not completely make sense at first, but each and every point will be explained as I go. First, Smite uses a third-person camera, which means that the mouse controls where you are facing. Second, all abilities use skill shot casting, which means that you have to aim your abilities or they may miss. Third, auto attacks act just like line skill shots. Finally, you can run backwards or sideways, but doing so or attacking while moving backwards or sideways will reduce your running speed. The most notable difference is using the third-person camera. If you've ever played a MOBA before, you may not know why this is a big deal, especially since a lot of other games actually use a third-person camera. Most MOBAs that come before Smite don't use a third-person camera. The MOBA genre does not require a specific camera angle, but traditionally the camera angle is top-down. This means the camera is located above the map and you can see a specific amount of the map at any point in time. Most players will place the camera either on top of their character so they can see them, or place it ahead or behind their character so they can scout for enemies. Just to clarify, the camera is not locked and thus does not have to be centered on the player's character, but to prevent confusion, most players will try and keep their character somewhere inside of the camera. So what? What does the third-person camera do, if anything? Well, let me explain a few things before I answer that. First, I need to explain how skill shot casting compares to lock-on casting. In older MOBAs, abilities can either use lock-on casting or skill shot casting. For lock-on casting, you select an enemy and the ability will always hit as long as your character is close enough to them. Unlike lock-on casting, skill shot casting can miss. Abilities that feature skill shot casting will first give you a marker that follows your mouse. This marker can range from 2 lines of a set length, distance, and angle between them, and a circle of a set radius and a distance the center can be from your character. Abilities with skill shot casting that feature 2 lines will then use the ability so that it activates between those 2 lines. Abilities with skill shot casting that feature a circle will fill that circle with the effect of your ability. Unlike lock-on casting, skill shot casting will miss if the enemy is not inside the selected area. How does this impact Smite? Well, it's actually very important, because every ability in Smite uses skill shot casting. This means your skill at aiming your abilities determines if they hit anything. The camera, and consequently your character, is aimed as you move the mouse, so if you slide the mouse left or right, the camera will look left and right respectively, along with your mouse. You can also look up and down. For abilities that use 2 lines, the ability will decide which direction to activate based on the direction of your camera. For abilities that use a circle, the circle will always be in front of your character. To determine how far away it will be from you, the ability uses your camera's vertical angle. If you look forward, the character will place the circle at the maximum distance it can be casted. If you look towards the ground, the circle will come closer to you. Looking at your feet means it will be casted where you stand. Skill shot casting doesn't just apply to abilities in Smite. Older MOBAs have a system called auto-attacking. For auto-attacking, the character will run towards the selected enemy if it is outside of the auto-attack's range and begin looping an animation that deals damage to the enemy. In Smite, all characters have auto-attacks, just like older MOBAs. But just as skill shot casting based abilities can fire and miss, so can auto-attacks. This also brings up another unique feature in Smite, attack movement penalty. In order to make sense of attack movement penalty, I will have to first explain one thing. Movement in older MOBAs was controlled by the mouse. If you click on the ground, your character will calculate the shortest path between your current location and the spot you clicked and begin running. Your character will always run forward, which means that they will turn and face the direction that they are running and will only stop if another movement or attack command is given. However, in Smite, you use the A, S, D, W, or arrow keys for movement, which means it is possible to run sideways or backwards thanks to the separation of movement and aiming. Therefore, Smite implemented a system where you are penalized for running sideways, running backwards, or auto-attacking while moving. These penalties vary in severity, but all of them reduce how fast you run. This penalty also stacks, which means that you will run slower while auto-attacking and moving backwards than just auto-attacking and moving forward. This may sound harsh, but certain items are available in Smite that actually remove this penalty temporarily, which means that you can have the choice to remove it or not, depending on your playstyle. Before I finish this section, I just want to mention 2 more things. First, because the camera is located directly behind you, you are unable to see behind you unless you turn around. This means that, unlike other MOBAs that use top-down cameras, enemies can sneak up behind you, adding an extra dimension to the game. Second, all characters in Smite are based on gods and goddesses from mythology. These mythologies include Greek, Roman, Mayan, Hindu, Egyptian, Chinese, and Norse. Gods in Smite can range from Poseidon, god of the sea, Hercules, champion of Rome, Hunbats, the howler monkey god, Agni, the god of fire, Rod, the sun god, Guan Yu, the saint of war, Thor, the god of thunder, and Loki, the trickster god. Although not as powerful as they appear in mythology, all of their abilities and designs are based on the stories from mythology.